Gray, but after a judge acquitted 3 and a jury deadlocked in the trial of a 4th, Mosby decided going further was futile.
We could try this case 100 times and cases just like it, and we would still end up with the same result.
She blamed failure to get a conviction on bias within the police department and a judge unsympathetic to the state's theory. But critics say Gray's death was investigated, ruled an accident, and Mosby should have never charged the officers.
It is the Baltimore City State's Attorney's Office that has denied justice to the Gray family, denied justice to these officers.
Still investigating Baltimore police and Freddie Gray is the U.S. Justice Department, who's been on the case for over a year. Chris Clacken, NBC News.
The man who tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan will leave a psychiatric hospital. A federal judge gave John Hinckley Jr. permission to walk out. The judge demanded Hinckley live with his mother for at least the first year after he's released. He also has to meet with psychiatrists regularly. Hinckley tried to assassinate President Ronald Reagan in this stunning series of images from 1981. He shot the president and 3 other people, including Press Secretary James Brady, who was gravely wounded and paralyzed. A jury found Hinckley not guilty by reason of insanity.
Japanese police searched the home of the person they say is responsible for Japan's deadliest mass murder in decades. Police investigators carried boxes into the home of 26-year-old Satoshi Uematsu. Police say in 40 minutes he killed or injured nearly 50 patients at a facility for people with mental disabilities. He sent a letter outlining his bloody plan to the Japanese parliament after he was fired from the facility.
Republican nominee Donald Trump speaks out on the latest terror attack in France. This time that attack ended with the death of a priest.
France is no longer France. They won't like me for saying that, but you see what happened in Nice, you see what happened yesterday with the priest who was supposed to be a spectacular man. France is no longer France.
Witnesses say the 86-year-old priest was celebrating Mass when the attackers burst in, forced him to his knees, and sliced his throat. One of the assailants was identified as a 19-year-old man who grew up in the town and tried to travel to Syria twice last year with his family's IDs.
At least 44 people were killed and dozens injured after a car bomb explodes in northern Syria. The car blew up on the western edge of the predominantly Kurdish town near the Turkish border. ISIS claimed responsibility for the blast, one of many carried out by the terror group in Syria.
Well, the war on terror, a major talking point this election, as you just heard from Donald Trump. It also is the focus of our question of the day. Who has a better plan to defeat this? Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump? Well, head to news3lv.com to weigh in. And you know, our sister stations across the country asking viewers like you the very same question. So far, 74% say Trump's plan is better versus 26% for Clinton's plan. Nevadans favor Trump's plan over Clinton's 85 to 15%. You can always join the conversation on news3lv.com or on our Facebook and Twitter pages.
Another landmark in Turkey set to be renamed after a failed coup earlier this month. Kizilay Square in the Turkish capital will now be known as July 15th Democracy Square. People gather there almost every night for so-called democracy vigils to demonstrate against the failed coup. The move comes days after Turkey's prime minister announced the bridge connecting Istanbul's European and Asian sides would be renamed July 15th Martyrs Bridge.
Well, Americans are spending more and more time on social media. We all know that, but they're also less satisfied with what they experience online. This year's American Consumer Satisfaction Index says social sites such as Facebook and Twitter saw a decrease in satisfaction year to year. Facebook dropped 9 points from last year's score. Twitter down 8%. Those big drops dragged down to social media categories, which overall scored a 73% in satisfaction.
Let's have a little fun. We're getting our kicks on Route 66 as our own Gerard Romalo uncovers the secrets of the desert.
Kingman, Arizona is a popular stop on that road to Phoenix today, but a few small towns nearby take visitors on a trip back in time.
Day 3 of our journey takes us south of Las Vegas about 100 miles to one of the most famous Route 66 stops, Kingman, Arizona.
Everybody knows Kingman. Everybody's broke down here at least once.
Jim Hinckley is a historian and Route 66 author. He also leads an effort to restore notable sites along the famous highway,
places like the Beale and Brunswick hotels, established in the early 1900s.
Now, Clark Gable and Carol Lombard, when they married in Kingman, they had an impromptu wedding reception here at the hotel. Charles Lindbergh stayed here when he was laying out the first airline for the TAT airline system. Amelia Earhart was here for the ribbon cutting.
The list of celebrity guests is long. Many of the downtown businesses are owned by descendants of the first families of Kingman. A day spent here as a day full of history and reminiscing. About 25 miles from Kingman is another popular Route 66 stop. The highway through that area, better known as the Road to Oatman, is a picturesque winding trek through canyons that eventually leads to an old mining ghost town turned tourist depot. It's okay to feed the animals here. Just make sure you purchase a souvenir on your way out. From here, our drive continued east to Seligman, where we met the town's barber.
I was born here April 19, 1927 on old Route 66, on the old alignment of Route 66. This is a new alignment of 1933.
Angel Delgadillo has been cutting hair in Seligman more than 50 years. In fact, his father was also a barber before that, back when the property was still a pool hall. At one time, their business thrived, but then came the interstate.
When they finished building the highway between Kingman and Ash Fork, a distance of 100 miles, the town died for 10 long years.
It was a rough period until Angel realized people were interested in the history of Route 66. He's now credited with helping get the highway designated as an all-scenic highway. Today, busloads of tourists arrive to visit the town, his gift shop, and he still gets an occasional request for a shave and a haircut.
The world wants it. And why does the world want Route 66? Because Route 66 is truly, and including Seligman, we are truly America of yesterday.
It was progress that eventually ended Route 66's fame. Now, the goal to have it restored is a work in progress as well.
What colonial Williamsburg was for the preservation of 18th century America, Route 66 has become for 20th century America.
Get your kicks on Route 66.
Oh, what a fun assignment. And, I don't think I've ever actually taken a road trip down Route 66. All right.
4 o'clock, we'll hit it.
It was going to be a new economic driver for Maryland Parkway in the 1980s.
Yeah, farmer's market, though, could never quite open, even with help from a major pop star, Tom Hawley explains in the Video Vault.
And athletes from Team USA have one more stop to make on the road to Rio. We'll take you inside the warehouse that holds all the Team USA gear.
And it's very hot outside today. It's going to be even hotter tomorrow, and I'll let you know what days we could potentially break a record high. That's next.
A car wreck can leave your life spinning out of control. You need to get your car fixed and pay medical bills. I'm attorney Glenn Lerner. Call us the moment you've been injured. Let us turn your wreck into a check.
877-1500. Now handling Xarelto internal bleeding and wrongful death cases.
How does Lazy Boy celebrate nearly 90 years of providing comfort? We have an anniversary sale and do it better than anyone. Save 20% store-wide. Plus, get an extra 10% savings with a donation of $10 or more to Ronald McDonald House Charities. Great-looking sofas, sectionals, chairs, and more. Get genuine Lazy Boy comfort and give comfort when it's needed most. Shop our anniversary sale. It's furniture you'll feel good about in more ways than one. Lazy Boy Furniture Galleries. Live life comfortably.
I did it!
Join the fun and excitement of one of the fastest growing industries in the nation, gaming, at Crescent School of Gaming.
I came in and got a free tour. I was able to qualify for financial aid and started with no money down.
Call us today at Crescent School of Gaming. Dealers are in high demand. Get started today.
Hey, bartender, what'd you learn at school?
I learned the red snapper, kamikaze, Long Island iced tea, black Russian fuzzy navel, and the sex on the beach.
Crescent Bartending School. Call today and join the fun. An unsteady world will be in one person's hands.
Wouldn't you rather, in a certain sense, have Japan have nuclear weapons?
Saudi Arabia nuclear weapons?
Saudi Arabia, absolutely.
More countries with more nuclear weapons? Hillary Clinton knows that's the last thing we need. As Secretary of State, she negotiated a reduction in nuclear weapons with Russia and worked with both parties to get it passed. An unsteady world demands a very steady leader.
I'm Hillary Clinton, and I approve this message.
It is an entire transformation. It's like we have a new home.
Real customers share their stories about Empire today.
It's just that above and beyond that Empire is known for.
And during Empire's 50-50-50 sale, get 50% off carpet and flooring, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation.
Empire's products are top-notch. The carpeting and the flooring, it's phenomenal. I'm so happy we selected Empire.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
We went to Hollywood to ask if America's favorites, burgers, tacos, and chili, could taste just as great made with turkey. Thousands stepped into the Genio tasting booth to find out. With just one bite, they knew. Now it's your turn to make the switch.
Every month you spend your hard-earned money writing checks to the insurance company. But when you're hurt in a wreck, do you really think the insurance company wants to write you a check? I'm attorney Glenn Lerner. When you're hurt in a wreck, we'll fight hard to get them to pay you every dollar you deserve.
877-1500. Every day we help people injured in accidents. Do you need our help?
Golightly and Associates, 222-3333.
For well over a decade, there's been a large vacant lot on Karen, just west of Maryland Parkway at Commercial Center. I remember it as a Vegas Village shopping center when I was a teenager here in the 70s. But in the early 80s, the property began a dozen-year-long roller coaster ride that involved some big names and big ideas.
After being on the drawing board for over a year, the complete renovation of the Vegas Village at Commercial Center will result in a fashionable $12 million New Orleans French Quarter atmosphere.
There's more and more mom-and-pop type businesses that are really striving to stay in business. And I basically thought of this idea about 2 years ago.
Richard Benedict was the face of Farmers Market. Behind the scenes, the money man was Sam Calabrese, previously a silent investor in the Konakai, the Aladdin, and the Circus, according to his son Rick.
Each piece of property he built, he'd pay off the first piece, build another piece, pay off that piece, until he finally got to this huge project that he wanted to do, the Farmers Market.
But Sam Calabrese also carried some baggage.
FBI. They were on his case for many, many years.
He'd wrapped up a recent stint in Lompoc Prison for fraud, represented locally by Oscar Goodman, of course. And as announced opening dates came and went, the finances started getting some scrutiny.
One county official now says there's a chance Farmers Market may never open. Another official said he wouldn't be surprised if the whole project is a fraud.
Rick says there's a simpler explanation.
My father died, and everybody didn't have the trust in anybody else to run it, so it just collapsed at that point.
By the late 80s, an unexpected figure entered the picture, Michael Jackson.
What is known is that the Jackson attraction will spread out over 13,000 square feet, and it's being described as a multimedia arcade.
Jackson Celebrity Plaza would have been part museum and included gaming, but instead we saw something similar to what happened to job seekers at Farmers Market.
Every month after the initial interview, they said they were opening the first of that month, till eventually I realized they're never going to open.
The Farmers Market never opened. Jackson Celebrity Plaza never opened. And eventually the old Vegas Village building was torn down. It's a vacant lot today.
All right, Tom, Holly, thanks.
All right, let's turn to the good stuff where we shine a light on people making our world a better place.
Well, a picture of a group of kids with a Nevada Highway Patrol trooper is going viral, and for all the right reasons. It's a story you're only going to see on News 3. Trooper John Morris was on US 95. You see that red circle right there. He found 3 boys. They were 7, 8, and 17. 2 bicycles between the 2 and the 3 kids there. They say that they were trying to go to a nearby Walmart.
Trooper Moore says he just had to stop and help, so he loaded up the bikes, gave them a ride to that Walmart, and while trying to reach their mom at work, he bought the kids some ice cream and stayed with them until mom arrived.
Trooper Moore says he made several career changes before realizing his passion to help others. He's been with the NHP for about a year now.
Oh, what a beautiful story. He also told those kids, promise me you'll never do this again.
I know.
He's also a father, so you know
there was
where
some
that
finger
comes from.
wagging going on there. Don't you do this, young man.
But it ended on a sweet note with some ice cream. Hey, let's continue this conversation. Remember, this was spotted by somebody out in the public. He wasn't expecting any of this to come out, especially on the news. But guess what? People were watching. They were looking for a positive moment. If you've seen something like this, let us know about it. Tweet us at Marine News 3LV, at Reid News 3LV, or the station at News 3LV.
All right, make sure to join us in our living room on Facebook, so to speak. All you have to do is click that thumbs up icon on Facebook. Just search KSNV News 3 Las Vegas. You can also keep up with myself, Marie, search for Reid Cowan TV or Marie Mortera on Facebook.
All right, let's turn now to our next newscast. That's News 3 Live at 5. Here's a preview.
Well, there's no escaping the heat when it's July in Las Vegas. We all know that. But ahead at 5, why the heat could actually get worse in our future.
Plus, it may be the Democrats' turn to let the nation know where they stand on issues. But tonight, Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump trying to steal the spotlight because of yet another controversial statement. At 5, how his words now could fire on him in a different way. Those stories plus a check of your traffic tonight on News 3 Live at 5.
At risk.
Cue the music.
He's whispering now. His voice is getting hoarse. I'm just saying this over and over and over again.
I was going to see if you were going to say it.
No, I'm always going to give you the honor, my friend. We are in the single digits now, 9 days away from the first day of the Rio Olympics. Before the athletes head to the games, they have to take a stop in Houston to pick up gear.
That's right. It's a warehouse that holds all of their clothes, all of the branding that they're going to sport for the opening and closing ceremonies, and hopefully on the medal stand, too. Reporter Andy Serrato checks it out.
Houstonian Corinna Polk is volunteering this week to help the U.S. Olympic Committee get every member of Team USA dressed from head to foot. She's helping the athletes go from station to station.
It's one opportunity to come in contact with the athletes before they get to Rio, and then to also represent Houston in a big way and the United States on a big platform.
Oakley, Nike, Ralph Lauren. It's a massive setup right here in Houston to make sure everyone from the triathletes to the table tennis stars have a winning wardrobe for the games.
It's totally awesome. I mean, this time I feel more ready. The last 4 years we've been just preparing and training hard. So this time around, I think we'll do well.
Timothy Wang is one of 191 repeat Olympians who qualified for Team USA. With less than 2 weeks until the opening ceremony, most athletes will be heading straight from Houston to Rio.
I've gone through it before. I understand what goes on for the Olympics. I understand what's at stake and what I need to do to be successful as well.
All
Okay.
right, they're going shopping.
They are going shopping. You, my friends, have been going shopping as well. You guys have your gear ready. Maybe not taking a stop to Houston, but that's okay.
No.
Plenty of stuff here in Vegas to buy.
Lots of things at Kohl's and Old Navy, and I don't know, just doing my best to keep it down. Because 3 weeks of sports attire, I mean, my gosh, that's motivation to come back and lose some weight for sure.
Or work out beforehand.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a lot, and spraying everything down with the mosquito repellent stuff to keep from the bugs biting. That's certainly something we've been talking about doing.
But regardless, it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
You know, people already having fun there, especially part of our News 3's Team Rio. This group of dedicated News 3 viewers telling their stories, giving you a window into the Rio Olympic events along with Reid and Chloe. And of course, our photographer, Adrian. They will be your eyes and ears there in Brazil.
You know, some of our Team Rio members are already in Rio telling their stories. You can follow along with Team Rio on news3lv.com. Just head over to the Olympics page to check it out.
And perhaps before we go to weather, let's take a quick look here at Philadelphia. Nevada in the spotlight, of course, at the Democratic National Convention. We're moments away from hearing Senate Minority Leader Harry Reid speak. But before that, a very touching tribute on what he's done there at the White House.
Yeah, in the audience right now, the lights are dim because they are watching a video tribute to Senator Reid. And this is all on tape. Senator Reid really getting praise for his long career and his fighter spirit in this video that has been shown online. And so the people in the audience are watching that before Senator Reid comes out on stage. Of course, we know this could be his last sort of big hurrah in politics. He will come home and retire in the great state of Nevada. And he's going to do so not before he goes on stage and says, hey, we've got to elect Hillary Clinton.
The New York Times said he will be lacerating his political opponents tonight. But before that, some tender words from people, other lawmakers, of course, that he's worked with over the years, including himself. He was called a master of work, obviously not just there in the White House, but for the rest of the nation. One thing he pointed out, his mother there that you just saw on the left-hand side of your screen, one of his greatest legacies, he says, was buying her teeth and reflecting on his push for health care reform.
Yeah, so Senator Reid, that video, that tribute video, will be ending shortly, and then he will take to the stage. And, you know, this is a political season. Not everybody is in love with his political legacy. Some people cheer it, but this is a friendly crowd, and they are very friendly. Nancy Pelosi featured in that video. They're very friendly to Senator Reid and his legacy. And so News 3 watching for this moment when he will come on stage.
All right, in the meantime, do we want to go to weather? Okay, yes. All right.
I haven't heard anything.
We got the okay from our producer there. Big week for weather, for sure.
Yeah, we actually have a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. Outside, a few clouds looking to the north, if we can get that graphic up. Sunny skies all across the area. We did wake up to some parts of town with that haze again this morning. It has been clearing out again this afternoon. Right now, we're in the moderate category for ozone and those smoke particles from those fires burning in California. But one thing we can certainly all agree on is the hot weather outside. 119 degrees for Overton. We're looking at 117 for Laughlin, 113 for Bermuda and Warm Springs. The rest of our neighborhoods were at 115 for the downtown area, coming in at 113 for Paradise. So you could just see very, very toasty conditions all across the area. Winds are in the single-digit category for right now. The rest of the evening in Las Vegas, it's still going to be a scorcher, folks. 110 degrees by 7 and 105 by 9. And it's really not going to get any cooler overnight tonight, especially compared to the last few days. As far as storm activity, we're doing pretty good with most of those storms popping up around us. Also to the east of us, a thunderstorm you can see as we get a little bit closer, approaching Kingman right now and already passing through Dolan Springs just over the past half hour or so. We're going to see the chances for our area getting those thunderstorms as we inch closer to the weekend. Multiple alerts to tell you about. The most prominent one for our area is the excessive heat warning, which remains in effect through
Hillary Clinton. As we fought for the belief that affordable health care is a right, not a privilege. As a team, we fought for the idea that you shouldn't get the bill.
Ever 0% interest for 4 years with no down and no